Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look at something many of us actually try to fill up or even avoid: silence.
That's right. And our sources, they challenge that common idea that silence is just empty space.
Yeah, some people apparently see it almost like a void or an out-of-life state, which is quite extreme.
It is. But the material we're looking at treats silence really differently, not as a lack, but as a foundational, highly sensitive reality state.
Okay, foundational. So the mission today is to unpack why this state, silence, is argued to be more powerful even.
And more dominant than sound itself. That's the core claim we need to explore.
Right. So let's start with the basics then. The definition. If silence isn't just, the opposite of noise, what is it according to this source?
Okay, the definition is quite meticulous. It's described as a mode with specifically no or zero sound, disturbances, interventions, and interruptions.
Zero intrusion. That's pretty absolute.
It is. And what's key here is that it's presented as universal, something that can be observed, adopted, sensed, not just by us humans.
You mean animals too?
Animals, nature itself, the environment, even inanimate things, potentially. It's a perceivable state across the board.
Okay, so that covers the external quiet.
Yeah.
But the sources also push hard on the internal aspect, right? The power of, let's say, internal stillness.
Exactly. That's where the utility comes in. The material suggests silence is a powerful state for actively promoting and increasing higher and full concentrations.
Higher and full concentration, so a cognitive benefit.
A major one. Silence isn't just passively blocking noise. The argument is it actively opens and focuses the mind.
How does it do that?
By sort of pushing away those external distractions, it's said to trigger higher levels of awareness and sensitivity coverages.
Okay, so less distraction equals more focus. Makes sense.
Which directly translates, the source claims, into better performance, more carefulness, and smarter thinking.
So it's like the engine almost for our thinking, powering intellectual abilities, channeling strength.
And elevating those complex mental activities, thoughts, calculations, ideas, imagination, even remembrance, that whole suite of internal processes.
And it mentions something about feelings too, that being in silence helps feelings become well understood.
Yeah. Providing that clarity needed for introspection.
Yeah.
Like an intellectual or emotional stabilizer, as you put it earlier.
Okay. Taking that internal power, now let's connect it back to the external world, because this is where I think the most radical claim comes in.
The inversion.
Yeah. The source flips the hierarchy we usually assume between sound and silence.
Right. It asks which one really depends on the other.
And the answer is pretty counterintuitive. The claim is sound exists inside silence. That sound was created out of silence.
That's the core assertion. The justification seems to center on silence being the necessary container. The foundation.
The vessel, you said.
Yes, the vessel.
Oh.
The source states it directly. It is silence that carries sound, not sound that carries silence. Sound needs silence to even be defined or perceived distinctly.
Okay, let's unpack that. What if that foundation, silence, just wasn't there? What happens to sound then?
Well, according to this view, without silence providing that framework,
Yeah.
sounds would essentially lose their shape.
Their shape. You mean like...
Their beginnings, their ends, any sense of direction, their limits. Our ability to understand or recognize them distinctly would vanish. Even measurable sound waves and frequencies rely on it.
So everything just blurs together.
They would all degrade into just noises.
Yeah.
Indistinguishable chaos, basically. Silence is required, the source argues, to quantify sound, to measure volume, waves, depth.
And create the frequencies we need to even be aware of them.
Exactly. It preserves those vital gaps, the structure between sounds that allows them to be meaningful.
So, zooming out, thinking about real-world application, this makes silence seem less like a passive absence and more like a prerequisite for things to happen.
A necessary functioning component, yes. The source notes that before many powerful creations, significant research, complex calculations, big decisions, there was silence. It had to be there first.
A necessary state.
Necessary, yes. But, and this is an important nuance the source includes, we shouldn't equate silence with total safety.
Ah, right. There's a caveat.
A crucial one. Dangers can, and absolutely do, exist in silence, just as they can exist amidst sound. Neither state guarantees safety on its own.
Good point. Still, the fundamental difference the source posits remains interesting. Sound approves activities,
While silence supports connectivities, stillness, securities, and steadiness, those four pillars rely on it.
and ultimately everything returns to silence. That's quite a thought.
It really raises questions about the fundamental nature of reality. based on
Oh,
these texts. And it leads to this final thought they leave us with. Consider this. In every reality, silence is a must, while sound may not be.
almost typically.
As silence in every reality cannot be, overridden, unmounted, denied, and undone, as sound may be.
Wow. Okay, that definitely suggests one is far more fundamental, more permanent than the other,
Yeah.
not easily undone.
Precisely.
A provocative idea to end on. So perhaps try observing the quiet moments around you today. Focus on that zero depth of disturbances, as the source calls it. See what happens. What new awareness might that bring?